I really need to get my suit back. I genuinely can't remember the last time I had my regular suit, like my regular skin, without any modifications whatsoever. I think for the entire time that we've been on Hermitcraft Season 7, I would say that there has been maybe 2, potentially 3 episodes where I've just had my regular mumbo jumbo skin. It's actually reached the point now where it feels weird seeing me in my regular skin. Like, I barely recognise myself. Anyway, in today's Hermitcraft episode, we are starting things off near my new Piglin trading area that I've constructed. It's all looking a little bit rough and ready at the minute, and we still have 4 empty slots. So to get things started, I think we should sort that. I feel like there has to be a smarter way to do this than the one that I'm currently doing. I mean, I've got 1 extra in place, but it is not easy. It's such an uphill struggle. We could be onto a winner with these guys, though. I think I've got a bit of a knack to this now. So first off, you have to get the crossbow ones, because the golden sword ones, they're too gnarly. At least for me. Alright, and then you have to make sure that every single zombie pigman that you see, you just block them up so that these guys can't see them, and then they're happy to follow you anywhere. Oh my goodness, just out of pure luck, there's also one in here. Like, there's a guy who's just spawned in here. Alright, hopefully. So he's going to do this trade, then hopefully he spots that piece of gold. Is he going to spot it, or am I going to have to nudge him in? Hopefully this is okay. Yes! There we go! We've actually got one of them in place. Alright, let's get this one renamed, and that one renamed. Iskal is great at the mumbo. Hello, I love Iskal. Fantastic. I'm so glad I let him rename my name tags. But after spending a ridiculous amount of time hunting for piglins, all of them then dropped into place at once. It's always very nice when that happens. Right, this thing is now all completed. It's up and working, it's operational, so I guess we should probably make this place look a little bit better. And I guess the first thing on the to-do list is actually to clear out a little bit more space, because I feel like having a nice tall room to work with here could end up looking pretty good. Now, of course, because this is very much a Minecraft 1.16 build, I think it would be unfair for us to not make use of the new Minecraft 1.16 blocks. And my goodness, the black stone is just such a cool block. Might be my new favourite block in Minecraft. It looks so good everywhere that you use it. With that being said, I would say there's one block that does look cooler, which is the new lodestone. I hadn't actually realised that that makes use of netherite. That's quite an expensive decorative block. My goodness, does it look good. So I'm thinking when it comes to the nether portal, we do a slight relocation of it. Hopefully moving it 4 blocks in this direction shouldn't affect the linking and things. I mean, I know this is pretty sensitive stuff, but I imagine it should be okay because there's nothing really nearby to my villager trading area. And I'm thinking we go right the way up to the roof with this nether portal. And then we can kind of build around it. Maybe not this high, because then we have bedrock to deal with and things, and that's a bit of a problem. I think we can all agree that that looks pretty mean. Okay, now I need to work out a way to not stand in the fires that I've lit. I lit these fires so that I could have some light, because it's getting kind of difficult to place these blocks. But also, I need to think of some way to then extend this room upwards. And I kind of don't know how I want to do it. Maybe build up a second tier, because I would like to be able to actually see my piglins. I feel like I have to mention this in every single video, but I'm really not a builder. Okay, this is not my comfort zone. But I do really enjoy the process of watching a build come together, and I'm liking how this is coming together. We don't really have too much detail up at the top here, but I like the height of the roof, and I also just like this kind of the depth of the back step there. Yeah, I mean, I think this is looking quite nice. Can anyone let me know down in the comment section if there's a better way to get basalt than just doing it in these areas, because they seem a little bit dangerous. I would really prefer to do it anywhere else. Oh, is that all basalt? I mean, that seems like a good place to get it from. So I've had a bit of a tough time with the roof. Originally, I was going to go with the blackstone stuff, but it just looked a little bit too heavy, a little bit too similar to what we've got going on down at the bottom. So that didn't quite work out. I tried a few different designs, but I think in the end, I'm actually going to go for cobblestone and stone slabs. It looks nice and bright. It doesn't feel too heavy to be up at the roof. And yeah, I just think it works quite nicely with the rest of the build. And I know I said earlier on that I'm not a builder, but you know, I'm starting to sound like one. This build should now all be done. All of the scaffolding has just been removed. And that's not bad. It's considerably cooler than it was at the start of today's episode. So that's the most important thing. I might put a few lights and things up there. Maybe a little bit of texture. Alright, yeah, give me a second. I've been wanting an excuse to use the new soul lanterns, so this seems like the right time for it. I mean, this build is perfect. And that is a million times better. That has improved things massively. This is a cool looking space. We've got a nice little zone here for our Piglin trading, but the issue is that currently we have no gold. So obviously the Piglin trading, the way that it works is we throw them gold and then they throw out other stuff. But yeah, we have no gold. We have absolutely nothing. So now we have to try and solve that problem. Now, I could go mining, you know, now that the Nether is generating gold, you know, you get the gold ore in the Nether. I mean, you can actually get a decent amount of it within a fairly short space of time, but that's no fun, okay? I mean, that's not the way that we do things here. Instead, we're going to build up some form of massive gold farm. Now, obviously, people have come up with all sorts of different designs on YouTube, and that's fantastic. I'm sure there's plenty of incredibly efficient ones that have been developed. But I personally really like the idea of trying to design one for myself. Now, it may not be the most efficient thing in the world. I'm going to say that straight away. It may not be the most efficient thing in the world, but I enjoy learning the new mechanics and I enjoy experimenting with this sort of stuff. So welcome to my Nether testing world. We are currently way up above the Nether because, of course, this is where we're going to be building the gold farm. Now, I'm not going into this completely blind. I do know a few bits about gold farms. So number one is that it needs to be in the Nether wastes because that has a higher likelihood of spawning zombie pigmen. And number two is that it needs to be constructed, at least the spawning platforms, out of magma blocks because those are the only blocks that zombie pigmen can spawn on in the Nether wastes. Oh, and I know that we also have to be using looting if we want large numbers of drops, or at least if we want to increase our number of drops. So we're not going to have this totally AFK. The zombie pigmen aren't going to be killing themselves. We are actively going to be killing the zombie pigmen. I also know about the turtle egg mechanic, but I don't think we're going to be using that because I kind of want to keep things as simple as possible. You know, I want to toe the line between simplicity and efficiency. I want something that's relatively easy to build whilst also being incredibly efficient, and this design right here seems to be the winner. Now, I spent a lot of time working on a bunch of different variations of this, but then as I was working on it, I actually saw a video by Ray's Works that was literally uploaded hours ago, and he was showing off his bartering farm. I'll put a link to it down in the description because it's a really, really good video, and he showed off this donut design, and I thought it looked interesting, and I downloaded the world and it seems to work really, really nicely. So then I've made some modifications to the central area. I've gotten rid of the pathways and I just have total stone slabs. So now these guys can pathfind diagonally as well, which seems to speed things up a little bit. And I've also modified it so that we can use a looting sword so that we can maximize the number of drops that we get. Now I am actually running carpet mod, which means that we can actually look at statistics for this farm. So I'm going to run a quick test of around about 10 minutes just to get an average. I'll also put a link to the carpet mod down in the description because if you're testing farms, it's just the most valuable tool ever. Ooh! Well, that might be a problem. I guess we're going to have to improve our magma cube defenses. That never happened throughout all my testing. So I'm glad that we found out about that because otherwise that would have been depressing on the actual Hermitcraft server. But anyway, this number is the important one. We managed to average 46,619 items per hour. That's 22,000 rotten flesh per hour, which isn't brilliant, but 22,000 golden nuggets per hour is pretty sweet. 1,500 golden swords and also 701 golden ingots. So the gold ingots can go straight into the Piglin trading system, the golden nuggets can be crafted into gold ingots, and with 22,000 per hour, that gives us 2,500 gold ingots per hour from the golden nuggets, which means that in total with this farm, we're going to end up with around about 3,200 gold ingots per hour, which we can throw into that gold trading farm. That's a decent amount. In fact, it's exactly 50 stacks. That's a very decent amount, especially given this is actually quite a simple little farm. I mean, there's nothing too crazy going on. There's a lot of magma blocks, sure, and, you know, there's a lot of blocks to place in general, sort of, but it's definitely not huge. Like, this is totally manageable. I feel very happy. I feel very excited to build this thing. But it's very late. Yeah, I'm knackered. I'm going to go to bed. I'll catch you tomorrow. One sleep later. I've popped onto the server this morning to do a little bit of the groundwork. So we have an inventories full of magma blocks as well as half a shulker box worth of the magma blocks. I mean, I'm hoping... Is that going to be enough? Now that I look at it, I'm not sure it's going to be enough. I guess we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. First things first, we need to actually get ourselves onto the nether roof. And I've managed to find... this block right here, this piece of bedrock is one piece of bedrock below the top of the nether. It's at y equals 127, which means not only can we use this to get through to the top of the nether, but also if we break this, then we'll be able to just walk straight up. using a ladder. So I think we should try and do that. Now, I must admit, I don't think I've ever broken bedrock before. Like, people have always just done it on the Hermitcraft server. There's always just been holes in the nether roof that have allowed me to get through. I've never actually needed to build up a machine that does it. So here is the piece of bedrock that I need to break. And now... we wait. I must admit, this has taken longer than I expected. 4 days later. Alright. Maybe there's a better way of doing things here. Now, there is absolutely no guarantee that this is going to work first time, but I think everything should be fully set up for this to function. Do I have armor on? Yes. Right. Spamming the right-click button. Well, that didn't work. Let's try that again. Oh! Okay, well, No. I mean, there is a chance that this is patched. Like, this totally could be patched. Honestly, I don't know. Yes! I think that might have worked. That sounded good. Yes! What? No! What? Oh! Have I broken the wrong block? You have to be joking me. This is the... Well, obviously that's not ideal, but I do think I have a bit of a knack for it now. Let's just get fed up. And... activate. Shift. Spam. Yeah, buddy. Look at that. Professional bedrock breaker, sort of. I mean, you know, that's there forever now. Oh, and of course, if you want to break bedrock yourselves, I'll put a link to that tutorial down in the description. Once again, it's by RaiseWorks. To be honest, you should just subscribe to RaiseWorks. It's a really good YouTube channel, all to do with technical bits and pieces. But I do now have a bit of a problem. You see, a lot of people want to build gold farms. We're currently in a nether wastes biome, which means this is the perfect place for me to build a gold farm. However, I'm very near to a lot of people, and also the void fog means that if I actually built a gold farm all the way up in the sky, people probably wouldn't even know it was there. So that means that there is a chance that someone else would build a gold farm near it and then destroy the rates of both of the two farms. So I'm kind of not sure what to do. I've been sat for about half an hour just scratching my head. Because, I mean, on the one hand, I could just build it and let everyone know that it's there and that they shouldn't build gold farms here. But then I could just go elsewhere. I've decided to stop faffing about. I've gone about 400 blocks east. I'm in another nether wastes biome, so this is where my gold farm is going to be constructed. And for those of you in the scaffolding fan club, which I know seems to have a lot of members down in my comment section, every single time I don't use scaffolding, I get called out for it. I've decided I'm going to stock up, okay, and I'm going to make use of this wondrous block. I'm going to see how it feels. Something tells me I've brought way too much of it. Like, I feel like I definitely don't need this much scaffolding. Anyway, we now have a tower going right the way up to the build limit, so I guess this is where we just start chucking blocks in and getting the actual structure constructed. Wow, that was difficult to say. And that, for now, mainly involves just waiting for smooth stone to be smelted. Yeah, I mean, this furnace system is fast, but I want a faster one. We actually have some blocks placed. After many hours of faffing about, I'm actually starting work on this thing. We've got a little stone slab platform at the top of our scaffolding tower here. So this is where I'm going to be standing. Obviously, I'm going to be surrounded by stone slabs and things. I'm going to be sat in this spot, and all of the zombie pigmen are going to be falling onto these honey blocks. Now, the reason I'm using honey blocks is because they're not quite a full block. So when I kill the zombie pigments, the items will actually land on the honey blocks, but they'll be able to be picked up by hoppers that are underneath the honey blocks. Well. Definitely should have spawn-proofed my platform, because, goodness gracious me, I almost died. That was close. What is spawned up there? Is that a piglin? Man. Okay, well, when there's only 3 spawning spots available, everything spawns all in one place. I don't even have my gold boots. Oh, goodness gracious me. All of this area is now completely spawn-proof, so that should prevent any of that sort of thing happening in the future, because I seem to be completely inept at defending myself. But now I'm actually filling in all of the half slabs that are going to be surrounding this central area here. This is where all the zombie pigmen are going to be running across to essentially die. They're going to be running to their deaths, basically. But I mean, the good news is that I am going to get lots of gold off the back of it. So, you know, it's a bad thing that happens, but it leads to good stuff for me. Not for the pigmen. It's very bad for the pigmen, but it's very, very... I hit myself in the face with my microphone. I've never done that before. I was getting a little bit animated while I was talking. I smashed the microphone into my mouth. It kind of hurts a little bit. It definitely feels like a broken game mechanic, that I would be able to just hold shift and stop taking damage on these magma blocks. Like, it's something that I really don't want them to change because it's useful, but also they probably should change. Zombie pigmen are starting to spawn. This is a very, very good sign. I've got the outline of where the edge of the spawning zone is, so now I just have to fill in all of this space here with my stone slabs. After having a few hairy moments with ghasts, we are now all stone slabbed up. So this is now one solid structure. This is what I was talking about. This is what I was talking about, and I have to be so careful, because if I miss this ghast and destroy a zombie pigman, there's probably about 50 up on this platform right now. I have to make sure that I don't hit one of them. Wow, my aim is getting worse and worse. I've played this game for probably about 9 years now, and still I can't aim a bow and arrow. Now, I thought placing in all of the magma platforms and things would probably be better in the form of a third-person time-lapse, and I'm very glad that I did decide to do that because it was quite a boring and repetitive task. I also completely ran out of magma blocks. I had to go out and gather more of those, and I found that the best way to do that is just to strip mine, and then when you stumble across a little bit of magma, just keep mining it, because there's probably some huge vein connected to it, and it's far faster than what I was doing previously, which is just flying around in the Nether looking for magma patches and then being destroyed by piglins and pigmen and everything like that. It was just, yeah, that's difficult. Okay, do the strip mining technique. But I have to say, you know, with this Nether stuff coming through, all the Minecraft 1.16 stuff, I'm really loving the update. I think it's super interesting. I'm enjoying looking into all the different farms that we have, and obviously the new building styles that we're able to do with the new blocks is also pretty awesome, but I'm also incredibly curious what they're going to do in the next Minecraft update. And obviously I'm biased, I kind of want some more redstone stuff. I'd also like inventory upgrades. I mean, what sort of thing would you guys like to see? Let me know down in the comment section. Anyway, let's pop back onto the Hermitcraft server. And this thing right now is effectively a gigantic ghast spawner. I mean, it was a bit of a hellish time-lapse. I'm sure you saw. There were just ghasts spawning left and right. You know, it's difficult, so I'm going to have to add in some of the ghast spawning protection. Would you just die? Well, I'm going to have to add in some of the ghast spawning protection. I believe it is just a layer of slabs up at the top in just a couple of lines, and that should prevent all of them from spawning, which will be, yeah, a very good day. Aside from that, though, look how many pigmen there are. I mean, this seems to be working exactly as it should. We are so on the home straight now. We are so on the home straight. So it is literally just 2 strips of stone slabs. I've done the first one. We need a second ring, then a few bits in these areas to stop them spawning. And then it's just the details of like how we're going to pick up the items and things. I mean, this is my first gold farm. I've wanted to build one of these for years. Little 2x2 corner pieces now all in place. I think it's just cobblestone walls here, and to be quite frankly honest, I don't actually know what I need them for. But they are now in place, and all of my mob proofing is in place, and I have this measly little storage system down at the bottom here. It is absolutely nothing special whatsoever, but for the time being it will do, just so we can test this thing out and actually see if items are correctly flowing into this. I guess, I mean, we're at final check stage. And then I actually have to hit one of these things and get the ball rolling. Oh, but there is one more thing that I do have to do. And, it requires a name tag. Unless I can throw an item that one of these guys will pick up. Maybe if I craft up a sword or something? I don't know. I've managed to give this guy a diamond sword. He actually picked it up, and he was already kind of standing on this platform here, which is incredibly handy. So if I just give him a slight nudge... I really don't want to knock him off the edge because I don't want to lose my sword. But that should do the trick. Alright. He looks incredibly fancy out there, doesn't he? I might actually do a few more of those guys just so I can help aid the spread of the aggro. He has picked that up straight away. We have gotten incredibly lucky with our pigmen so far because not all pigmen can actually pick up items. I am incredibly terrified right now. I have probably triple checked this thing about 14 times. So 14 triple checks. Well, that's nearly 50 checks. Right, I think I'm good to go. I mean, I have to be wary of that guy because he could cause me some damage. I mean, let's just do it. What is the worst that could happen? Okay, they are falling into the correct place. It seems like this might be working. I mean, I don't seem to be dead. And there doesn't seem to be any zombie piglin dotted around the outside. We're going to need a much faster item pickup system though. Goodness gracious me. That is a lot of items on the floor. Oh no! The hoppers are filled already? What? No, that can't be right. There is this crazy bug going on, and I've heard about this. There's a zombie piglin who's picking up all the swords. Look at that. So those swords will never despawn. Yeah, that's also a big problem. That's also a huge problem. Well, I think it's safe to say that this gold farm has been an absolutely enormous success. There's still a few bits and pieces that we need to work on, aka we need to build up a large-scale storage system because we're going to need tons of storage for this thing. I mean, 45,000 items per hour. That's going to be like 1 million items after 20 hours of AFK. That's huge. Okay, so we really need to work on that, and also the item pickup systems, and we need to create a way to get these items from here over to our piglin trading area. There's all sorts of infrastructure that needs to be done, but not today, because I'm pooped. I hope you've enjoyed today's Hermitcraft episode. It's been a ton of fun, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya! Well, I think we can all agree that was a blast, wasn't it? I mean, we managed to make a wicked, efficient... Well, first off, we managed to create a cool-looking room for the piglin trading hall. Then we managed to design, or at least modify, a gold farm so that it looks sweet and works well. And then we managed to build it all in one episode. That's a solid Hermitcraft episode. You best give that little like button a tickle.